Have you ever thought about how a 200-year-old foreign policy idea could be making a comeback today? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into. We're looking at Donald Trump's proposal for an alliance of the Americas. And let me tell you, it has some surprisingly deep roots in American history.
It really all kicks off with this one simple but powerful phrase, America for Americans. Now, that might sound like a modern slogan, but its origins actually go all the way back to 1823, and it laid the groundwork for a policy that would define the entire Western Hemisphere for centuries to come. In that policy, it was called the Monroe Doctrine. To put it simply, President James Monroe basically stood up and announced that the Americas were officially closed for business when it came to European colonization or meddling. It was a really bold, clear message sent straight to the old powers of the world. Okay, so what did this doctrine actually mean? In practice, how did it really shift the global balance of power? Essentially, Washington drew a line in the sand. By telling Europe to stay out, the United States was pretty much designating all of North and South America as its own strategic backyard. And that single decision would go on to shape U.S. foreign policy in the region for the next 200 years. Think about that. All right, now let's hit the fast forward button and jump 2 centuries into the future, where that same core idea is being brought back to life in a very, very different world. So you have 1823 on one end and today on the other. It's a huge gap, right? Well, this is where Donald Trump's proposal comes into play. He's put forward a plan that really echoes that original thinking, but it's been adapted for our modern, globalized era. The proposal is called the Alliance of the Americas, and the vision is, well, it's massive. The main goal is to create a totally self-sufficient economic bloc by weaving together supply chains all across the hemisphere. We're talking about uniting key players like the US, Canada, Mexico, and Brazil to lock down everything from energy to critical minerals and really boost manufacturing right here in the region.
But here's the thing, this isn't just about making trade routes more efficient. If you really want to understand what's driving this, you have to ask, who is this alliance really aimed at?
So yeah, why is this happening now? What's the real motivation behind bringing back this kind of hemisphere-first thinking? When you break it down, the 2 main objectives are crystal clear. First, to slash our economic dependence on Asia. You've probably heard the term nearshoring, and that's exactly what this is about, bringing supply chains closer. And second, it's about creating a huge economic counterweight to China's ever-growing influence on the world stage.
And this isn't some broad, vague idea. No, it's highly targeted. The focus is specifically on pushing back against China's expanding footprint in South America, where it has poured tons of money into strategic areas like shipping ports, lithium mining, which is absolutely vital for batteries, and oil.
So here's the perfect way to think about it. The original Monroe Doctrine, let's call it 1.0, was all about keeping European powers from interfering militarily or politically. This new version, 2.0, is all about competing with Chinese economic influence. The rival is totally different, but the core idea and the location is exactly the same.
So here's the key takeaway. While the times have changed and the competitor is new, the strategic playbook itself, it isn't. This isn't necessarily about inventing a brand new foreign policy from scratch. Instead, what we're really looking at here is an update. It's the Monroe Doctrine just retooled and relaunched for a 21st century rivalry. You could basically call it Monroe Doctrine 2.0. And that leaves us with one final fascinating question. Can a 200-year-old strategy, one that was designed to push back against old European empires, actually work in a competition with a 21st century economic superpower? The answer to that question could very well define the next era of global politics.